What's going on, everybody? This is dkdynamite, and I have a bit of a different video here for you guys, talking about Extinction 2 being confirmed to have been real at some point, what the future may hold for that mode, and some other updates regarding Modern Warfare 2. Definitely stay tuned. But before we jump into that, be sure to hit that subscribe button down below, drop a like, and make sure you have notifications on to stay up to date with everything going on in Cold War Year 2, Warzone, Modern Warfare 2, and any other future Call of Duty as well. Now, first and foremost, Activision did confirm that there's over 650 million downloads of Call of Duty Mobile, and that active players on mobile each month in 2021 almost matched the active console and PC player base, lining up with the report yesterday that Vanguard's player base and sales altogether were drastically down in comparison to Black Ops Cold War, so it makes sense that mobile caught up a little bit. And they also mentioned they are building a large team for Warzone Mobile to take the franchise to new heights. It's unclear when Warzone Mobile is coming out, let alone Warzone 2. I'm going to assume both of those projects are coming out at some point mid-2023, possibly even March 2023, to coincide with the 3-year anniversary of Warzone 1. You know what I have to say to that though? Why not add Extinction to mobile, right? I think they brought back quite a few things in the COD Mobile already, including Blackout, certain modes, weapons, maps, and things you may have forgotten about. Why not do Extinction? Maybe that would play well, but considering how COD Mobile Zombies barely exist at this point, maybe they wouldn't consider something like that over on a mobile experience. We then have a report from gaming scooper The Ghost of Hope that the official Modern Warfare 2 global reveal is meant to be on June the 2nd and not May 30th like previously reported. And I know Charlie Intel is even bringing up the fact that that's Memorial Day, right? May 30th is a holiday, so I think everybody doubts that Activision will want to market their new Call of Duty, which is expected to be the second coming of Christ, the biggest sequel to the biggest Call of Duty ever. They probably wouldn't do that on Memorial Day, so I think June 2nd is definitely plausible, and I'm keeping you guys posted with everything going on with that upcoming release. And we'll be streaming the countdown, we'll be streaming our live reaction to the trailer itself, hopefully no copyrighted music, so be on the lookout for more information about that. Now, we also have another report that photo mode is going to be a new feature in Modern Warfare 2 and will make its debut as a feature in the Call of Duty franchise. We know photo mode exists for several other games out there, but Call of Duty never really had a feature like that. I guess theater mode was the closest to it. If you want to go ahead and take some screenshots, that's going to be huge for content creators out there that want to make thumbnails, or people out there that just like cinematography, photography altogether, and just want to see some beautiful shots from what is bound to be a beautiful looking game, right? Modern Warfare 2019 looked amazing, right? It was really focused on realism, and the sequel probably won't be any different, so I can't even imagine what photo mode is going to look like over the next couple of months. But with that being said, we then have a very interesting claim from former Infinity Ward and Treyarch developer Lee Ross that Extinction 2 is actually real. He said Extinction 2 would have been amazing, that prototype we built had so much promise. We then had some follow-up mentions from Brian Bright, who also used to work on Infinite Warfare. He was at Infinity Ward and definitely worked on Extinction. He mentioned base building baby, a little RTS mechanics in the mix. To be fair, if we made Extinction 2, there would not have been IW zombies. The studio was nervous about taking COD to space and didn't want aliens in it, even though the cryptids were not aliens. So there you have it, confirmation that at one point Extinction 2 was more than just considered, but a prototype was being made for it, since it would have been the third game mode in Infinite Warfare versus Infinite Warfare Zombies, right? That apparently was going to be the case at one point in time, and probably coincides with the original plan that Activision had to make sure every developer does their own type of third mode, where Treyarch does zombies, Infinity Ward does Extinction, and Sledgehammer would have probably eventually found their way with something, some type of third mode, whether it's dinosaurs, monsters, something would have happened along those lines so that there wouldn't be this burnout of zombies or having every developer work on zombies each and every year. Now, what's crazy about this is that base building and RTS mechanics are mentioned. I'll put a list on screen of games featuring RTS mechanics. Not sure to what extent Extinction 2 would have used mechanics like that, but what's ironic is that there is a free-to-play game rumored to be in development and led by Sledgehammer featuring building. So how cool would it be if this upcoming free-to-play game from Sledgehammer, or whoever's making it, featured some of these mechanics that were being played around with back during the prototype development of Extinction 2. And I'm still wondering what kind of building is being referred to in the rumor, right? Are we talking about being able to build fortresses and hold down objectives like the war mode from World War II 2017? Or are we talking about being able to build your own custom maps, your levels? I mean, it's unclear what that exactly means, but I'll keep you guys posted on anything new that gets found about that upcoming free-to-play project. And I'm just gonna safely assume, like I've been saying, that Sledgehammer is still working on that, since they've expanded quite a bit. And I wouldn't say Vanguard is an example of what they're able to put out. It looks like the attention at Sledgehammer is not on Vanguard at all, but instead something else. Maybe that's what it is. But back to Extinction 2, I honestly think Ghost underperformed. I think Activision already made that very clear to everybody, but didn't necessarily flop miserably to the point where they weren't at least considering bringing something back from Ghost. We know Infinite Warfare was a step in a different direction, nothing to do with Ghost at all, but if Extinction was bound to return and Activision said, yeah, go ahead and make a prototype, and before they decided on Infinite Warfare Zombies, that means that maybe Extinction didn't perform that bad to where Activision's like, yeah, we should bring it back in at least one more game, and that was considered at one point. And the thing is, Activision wasn't necessarily ashamed of Extinction either, since they allowed for cryptids to be included in the Beast from Beyond, DLC 4 for Infinite Warfare Zombies. Now don't get me wrong, I'm glad Infinite Warfare Zombies exists. I really respect and appreciate what Lee Ross and his team did in that mode. Wasn't my cup of tea at the time, since I was still really busy with Black Ops 3, and I still love Black Ops 3, but upon going back to Infinite Warfare a couple of years ago and doing all the Easter eggs, Director's Cut, Mephistopheles, I really sincerely appreciate the work that they put into that, and I can't even imagine what kind of work ethic they would have applied to Extinction 2, since when Extinction 1 was out, that was developed completely by Neversoft, but then when Infinite Warfare began development, Neversoft and Infinity Ward merged into just Infinity Ward, one studio. So I'm curious if with that merge, would that have meant Extinction 2 would have been that much better in Infinite Warfare? Now what I don't understand is Activision saying they didn't want aliens in Infinite Warfare. I mean, you were already going to space, it was a very outlandish campaign, and even former CEO of Activision said that Infinite Warfare was a high quality game, just came out at the wrong time, and I agree with that. I think the campaign was god tier, probably one of the best COD campaigns ever, but because it's an Infinite Warfare of all games, which did not perform well, people out there seem to write it off, forget it even existed. But the fact that it was already going to space, going to other planets, the fact that that game was already exploring those concepts that were just out of this world, I don't see what the issue would have been with doing aliens. And I get it, right? Cryptids aren't aliens. We already got the origin story of them in Ghost. They were from the Earth itself, from the center of the Earth, I believe, or the Hollow Earth, however you want to describe it. And by the end of Exodus, the final Extinction map in DLC 4 for that game, we were going to space anyway, right? The Earth was doomed, so I think it actually would have worked perfectly if they tied all that into Infinite Warfare, but obviously things didn't work out with that. But I'm not sure why Activision would be against that, but was okay with greenlighting so many other crazy things, and crazier things actually than aliens altogether. But in all honesty, I sincerely still believe to this day that each developer needs to do their own thing when it comes to the third mode. And we know that Modern Warfare 2 is kind of going to be the start of that again, since they're bringing out something called DMZ. That's the codename for the project right now. It's going to be an Escape from Tarkov equivalent that I think is going to bring Call of Duty to new heights that we just have not seen before, and is obviously going to be a replacement for Spec Ops, and that's good. I hope it succeeds, I hope it's fun to play, and I really do hope it's fun to make content on, right? I'm wishing the absolute best for that mode so that that could be Infinity Ward's baby, right? They don't have to worry about trying to bring this type of new version of zombies or anything like that. And for those out there that loved Infinite Warfare Zombies, including myself, I get it, trust me, I do, but the team that worked on that is no longer present at Infinity Ward, so if they tried doing a sequel to IW Zombies, it probably wouldn't be that great, if I had to be honest with you. So hopefully that's going to be Infinity Ward's thing. But then the question remains, what happens to Sledgehammer, right? What do they do as their third mode in their next Call of Duty, if they even make one, which I don't think they're going to, but the rumor still stands that they're going to come out with the game in the next couple of years or so. I hope they figure something out, and maybe that upcoming rumored free-to-play game with building that they're working on, that could kind of be a blueprint for something they end up doing that replaces zombies, because it's still shameful that Treyarch had to come in and make some type of half-ass zombies mode just to justify the $60 price tag. I mean, I just don't understand what went wrong, as I always say, and I think it's horrible that Activision even put Treyarch in that predicament to where it stains their reputation as a dev team. It's ridiculous. But I think Extinction's also a case of people not realizing what they have until it's already gone, and a lot of people hated on Extinction at the time, but people that have gone back to it over the last couple of years have realized that, yeah, it wasn't trying to be zombies, it wasn't trying to be the same type of formula just with a reskin of aliens. No, it was trying to be its own thing, and was only going to get better if it got a sequel, if it got a bigger development team working on it, if it got better sales to warrant investing more resources into the mode itself. It was only going to get better. So that's why I always say, whenever something new gets introduced, such as a whole new type of mode and experience, an example for you guys is Outbreak, be patient with the devs, provide really healthy and constructive and respectful feedback on Twitter, on Reddit, in comments of the trailers, to their Twitter accounts. Always be upfront about what could be improved about the mode, because not only will a lot of those changes happen over the course of a DLC cycle, but then they could also reintroduce and reinvent the mode even in a sequel or a new version of the mode that gets brought out in a future Call of Duty game. That's why I always say, just be very understanding of something new being introduced, because devs always have a lot to learn, right? They're always like, hey, this could work, that could work, and sometimes things don't work out, or sometimes they need more time to flesh out a crazy ambitious idea, which can only be done in a different Call of Duty entirely years from out. But I've tried to put a blend on screen of all different Extinction maps, right? We of course have the objective gameplay from the base versions of those maps. We of course have Chaos Mode from Modern Warfare 3, which got brought into Extinction, which was great. And it reminds me, right? People definitely have a problem with objective-based gameplay, right? That was very evident already with Outbreak, but Outbreak was still massively successful, not only because round-based was still offered, but Outbreak was, for the most part, fleshed out. And there's a lot of improvements that can be made with it and will be made in Treyarch's next game. But when you look at Vanguard and the zombies mode in that game, it's going for something that just did not work because not enough time was nearly put into it to actually win people's trust over with something like that. But with Extinction, you could tell there was an idea that was laid out and it got fleshed out with a pretty good amount of resources and budget. So I really like what Extinction went for. And overall, I think if Extinction 2 had some type of alternative to just the objective drill gameplay, then people out there would have warmed up to it a little bit better, right? They would have said, okay, I'm not really a fan of kind of this linear experience with the drill or whatnot, but this other version of Extinction featuring the cryptids is a lot more fun and replayable. And Chaos Mode could have even been a start to something like that, where it could just be basic survival or just a challenge mode. I mean, something like that likely would have been introduced in Extinction 2 for Infinite Warfare. Now, the last thing I'll say about Call of Duty Ghost altogether is that that game was all about innovation. You guys might disagree with that, but I think Ghost is really trying to keep a certain formula that COD is known for, while also trying to introduce different things that made multiplayer, that made a third mode more fun. And I still think to this day, Ghost is probably the most underappreciated COD to date. You could say Infinite Warfare is, because people really slept on that game's campaign and multiplayer, but that game's zombies was very well received for the most part, right? Maybe not at the time, but people's opinions change after Mephistopheles got revealed. But for a game like Ghost, most people will still collectively say the campaign was too easy, the story was shit, the MP was bad, the maps were too big, or the Extinction just wasn't fun at all, wasn't zombies. But if you really pay attention to what Ghost was doing, I mean, I can make a separate video all about Ghost multiplayer. Man, those DLC map packs were great. The weapons were pretty fun. The field orders were just really fun to go for. It just added replayability to playing MP. And then Extinction, trying to be just different and trying to stand out in comparison to zombies. That game really gave me hope for Infinity Ward. And it gave me hope for what they could accomplish. It has nothing to do with what Treyarch is doing, but just something different, so that every time a new COD comes out, something new is being offered that isn't just a direct copy-paste from whatever the last game did. And the last thing I'll end off with in this video is DMZ once again from Modern Warfare 2. Will that mode introduce anything that isn't based out of realism, anything that's dealing with fantasy, whether it's aliens, cryptids, monsters, dinosaurs, zombies? Will that mode do anything of the sort? I think it's somewhat plausible. I mean, considering we had a zombies outbreak in Verdansk, considering the Modern Warfare lore got really weird with Warzone's post-launch season, I wouldn't really mind or be surprised if DMZ does something like that in the future. And we know Treyarch apparently had a helping hand on Modern Warfare 2, and it's probably just, you know, some small areas here and there they need a little bit of work, some polishing, nothing too drastic. But if it's what I think it is, or could assume that it is, maybe there are some type of weird zombies type LTMs coming to DMZ at some point in the future. But I think in a perfect world, the cryptids being brought back would be awesome. I mean, if they're not aliens and they're just, you know, these creatures from the earth itself, then it's not too far out there to bring that into the Modern Warfare timeline, is it? That would be cool, and also it would be fine considering the Cold War Zombies lore is clearly tied into the new Modern Warfare universe, so why not throw in cryptids as well? But that is about it. This has been dkdynamite. Leave all your thoughts down below in the comment section. What are your thoughts on Extinction 2 having been real at some point? What are your thoughts on the future of the mode itself? Will it ever return in any way, shape, or form? And also, what are your thoughts on the new information regarding Modern Warfare 2? Really hope you've enjoyed, and peace out, everybody.